Harvey Weinstein's a creep, y'all. That's just what it is, man. I'm gonna call it for what it is, man. The only reason why we seeing Harvey Weinstein today is because Harvey Weinstein got the bag. Harvey Weinstein ain't had it bad. We wouldn't even know who Harvey Weinstein was today. I'm just keeping it real. You know what I'm talking about? He sparked off the Me Too movement. That's just how that went. And that's just what it's about. Now here we go 2, 3 years later. You know what I mean? He got some bread. And so now they want to hear what he got to say. You know, the shit is just, to me, it's just inconsiderate and insensitive for the victims in that case. This ain't no hocus pocus. They duly proved that that dude was a convicted rapist. And so because they duly proved that he was a convicted rapist, that means they really got victims. You understand what I'm saying? And so now making these victims relive this again, man, is a heartless move. You see what I'm saying? By the state. State shouldn't even entertain that. But then again, the state should trample over its own laws. You see, a lot of people don't understand, criminal procedure law inside our country. A lot of times they trample on laws just to enforce other laws. Because for the life of me, I can't understand how they gonna let a dude like Sammy the Bull out of prison, and this dude confessed to killing like 20 people. Right? He confessed to killing all those people, but because he gave them some information that led to some other people getting arrested and put away in prison, it was okay. You see? But it's like they dictating and regulating when it come down to the law because it ain't like they had no, no vote or none. They didn't bring it to the people or to the council, the city councilmen didn't bring it to the communities and ask the people how they feel about that. And we should have something to say about that because we pay our taxes. There is no taxation without political representation. That's just the Constitution. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know that. That's how come a lot of us get caught in the trick bag. But flat out, straight up and down, that dude Harvey Weinstein, man, I don't wish prison on nobody, but they got to do something with that dude. You see what I'm saying? Nevertheless, man, we gonna keep it moving. But we gonna stay within the same realm because the black community needs to understand politics in the way that it can be, given to them. You know what I mean? We learn different. Again, I'm a staunch supporter and was a staunch supporter of Ebonics, Ebony plus phonics, because anytime, we can make up phrases like I done told you 50, 11 times and umpteen times, and we understand what that means, then that means that is a lexicon. That is, that is a jargon that can, give description to a people. You understand what I'm saying? And so with regard to that, the black community is apolitical. For some reason we believe that we just Democrats because we black. You know what I mean? We got to step away from that misnomer because that is fundamentally false. You see what I'm saying? Black by color, but not by thought. That's fundamentally false. You understand what I'm saying? No, we all ain't Democrats because we black. Some of us are independent, some of us subscribe to the Republican Party. I don't fuck with neither. You understand what I'm saying? I just keep my shit on cop for the candidate who offering me, the most and the things that are in my best interest. You understand what I'm saying? But pushing right forward into what I'm about to speak about. Cuomo coming back, y'all. Cuomo coming back. And yo, listen, I'm a root for the guy. Politics is a dirty game. But if we had to play devil's advocate, man, you understand what I'm saying? And looking at it from the side that they on, I'm a root for the dude, man, because we definitely seen, fundamental change under his administration. We did. And again, I spoke to it earlier on my stories. I wanted, an example of, you know, um, not reform because they scrapped it, but I am an example, right? And a testament to those who was let through, you see what I'm saying, the pathway that was created from Cuomo overhauling the parole division inside New York State. The parole division in New York State was horrible, y'all. I'm talking about they could use hit you 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years indefinitely. After you did your sentence that was given to you by the court, they were again playing judge and jury to people, man. Telling you that you got to take 2 more years for the nature of your crime. But your nature of the crime never changes. You see what I'm saying? So if they're going to give you 2 years for the nature of the crime after doing 25 years, they give you 2 years and now you're coming back to seeing with 27 years. The nature of your crime didn't change within those 2 years. They're going to give you another 2 years. you know, draconian practices by the New York State Parole Division inside New York State, over the last, I'm gonna say, we've seen a change in it maybe over the last 5 years. You understand what I'm saying? But anything beyond or back beyond that, it was crazy. Parole was crazy. The way they was regulated, it was crazy. You understand? So I seen Cuomo, make an impactful change in that regard. Him getting busted messing with the call girl or whoever it was, they said he was messing with her. No, that was the other dude, Spitzer. But him getting jammed up with, some of his aides saying it was, either his way or the highway. Come on, y'all. Let's be for real. This is American politics. We are taught that in school that when you get money, you get power, and with power, you get respect. You understand what I'm saying? So how could a dude who's believing within himself that he's, achieved the greatest achievement, which is entitlement, and not think he's entitled? Make that make sense. I'm not justifying what he did, but who knows if it was quid pro quo? The lieutenant lady that brought down Madry openly came out and said it was quid pro quo. I don't know what she was talking about. You understand what I'm saying? Nevertheless, that's what she expressed. You understand what I'm saying? So in this regard, like whatever Cuomo was doing in his personal life, I don't see how that had any of a bearing or effect on us in our personal lives. Right? I don't see how what he was doing in his personal life was so impactful to us in a negative way that it, stirred us away from going toward the way that we as a society agreed upon going in. Because when we elected him as governor, that's exactly what we did. We agreed to say he's going to be the leadership. You see what I'm saying? So I don't see nothing in his personal, proclivities and his personal engagement. Whatever he doing off court is off court, y'all. What that got to do with the game? You understand what I'm saying? And then it was during the time when they was on, they be doing these political witch hunts against each other. You understand? That's how come the dude Donald Trump hates the government as much as he does. People getting caught in a trick bag talking about, yo, we fucking up the country. Yo, let him do what he do. Because sometimes you got to fuck this shit up to fix it back up and make it look nicer. You understand what I'm saying? But just passing the baton from, one dude on your team to the next dude on your team, we can't expect nothing, impactful or significant to come from that. Because it's a relay within your own loop. You understand what I'm saying? So Cuomo coming back, man, like y'all can feel how y'all feel, the people who are political, politically astute, politically aware. Y'all can feel what y'all want. Cuomo coming back. I don't see a dog in the race that could beat him. You know what I mean? He's making more money than in donations that's just out of control. And where do you think that money is coming from? That money is coming from potential voters. Simple. They could go ahead and, put on this charades and, this political theater. That's what they call it, political theater. They can put on all this political theater, put all the bells and whistles all on it, dress it up. But at the end of the day, when it's time to have some say, that dude Cuomo coming back, man. You can believe that, you know. But I ain't gonna keep y'all too long. I'm gonna do one more spill, man. I'm gonna push for my niece, man. I'm pushing for my niece because the climate is right. Anybody out there that talking about they wasn't entertained when little mama was on that stage, you's a liar. A bold-faced liar. I don't give a fuck what gender you are. You see what I'm saying? Because the whole goal and game plan with regard to being able to have talent and then share it with the world, and so we can impart a message. Get up and party. That has always been Little Mama's stance. Get up and party, dance, have some fun. How we gonna say as a society we don't want that to come back? Especially in the face of all this drill shit going on. I ain't gonna shoot drill down. I'm definitely a lover of drill because I can identify with a lot of their messages. You see what I'm saying? But the context in which they're expressing themselves is just too dark. Society ain't ready for that. You understand what I'm saying? Society is not ready for that. We're not mature enough for that. People will read into that, believe into that, and start doing that. We seeing that. You understand what I'm saying? So like I said, it's time for a breath of fresh air, man. You know what I mean? We hearing all these girls talking about sucking dick, fighting over dick, you know what I'm saying? Getting pregnant by motherfuckers who they know don't care about them. Why we want to listen to those stories? We already know that type of shit going on. You know what I'm saying? How come we can't get up and dance to that shit? Not making fun of it, but making light of it. You understand what I'm saying? We ain't gonna make fun of real life situations and issues. Nah, we not doing that. But in spite of that, we gonna get up and dance in front of that. You see what I'm saying? And this is the reason why it's time for mama to come back, homie. You know what I mean? I'm hoping and praying, man, and the law allows for it to happen, man. You know what I mean? Because we need to brush of fresh air. Going on social media, all we seeing is these young women fighting each other, popping on each other. They putting on a better show than the dudes, because the dudes ain't that physical. Women are. And they out here proud about that shit. Nah, homie, we gonna bring that back. That's not ladylike. You see what I'm saying? The dude that's seeing the two of you fight over him, he laughing at y'all. That's coming from an alpha male. Look at these silly bitches. That's what he's saying. Because that's how y'all looking. Jay-Z said it since y'all like to listen and quote ho. A wise man said never argue with fools because people from a distance can't tell who's who. And it applies to the same thing with a fight. Only thing a wise motherfucker is standing back looking at saying, look at these two idiots. You understand? Saying, not saying that dude or the dick they fighting over is wise. Hardly that. We know it ain't that. We see it ain't that. 'Cause that would be right and exact. But at the same time, I know he ain't jacking it. And if he is, he laughing at it. That's what y'all want to be, like, a laughing stock? This coming from an alpha male. I'm telling you what it is. I'm in them loops. You understand what I'm talking about? That's how we look at it. That's how I look at it. These silly ass bitches, man. You understand? Saying, nah, homie, we need a breather from that because that's not who we are. That's part of who we are. We ain't gonna just disown it because that'll be fake nigga shit. You see what I'm saying? But we more than that at the same time. And this is what I'm trying to say. It's time to open up the lane and let her come on back out. You know what I mean? That little sucker shit she was going through with Jay-Z. Exactly what I said it was. Sucker shit. Fuck a giant look like beefing with a little girl. I mean figuratively. You know what I mean? Not literally. You understand what I'm saying? That's like a big that don't even look right. You know what I mean? And shame on those who applauded those. When I came home, I heard the echo, yo, she played herself. How? How? How she play herself? How? Hove ain't deserving of that type of adoration? Because I know one of y'all probably would have did it, especially on the other side. Probably got down on your knees to juggle on those. Stop playing. You understand what I'm talking about? Stop playing. We judging from a position that we shouldn't be judging from. We don't understand and know what that lifestyle is like. She do. Remember, it was Beyonce reaching for it. Chill, mama. Beyonce wasn't reaching for you. And that ain't the gloater to throw it in your face, but that's the humble you. Because little mama's a star. You understand? She has genuine talent that I know that once it's brought back to the forefront, we gonna get up and dance. Because like I said, that's what I always thought about, partying was about. I'm going to a party, dance, have something to drink, have some fun, and I'm out of there. If we going to a party to smoke on a nigga or to dance on a nigga block who got popped, that ain't partying, homie. That's instigating bullshit, sucker shit. Because that's definitely ain't gangster. A gangster understands that just because he could don't always mean he should, homie. You understand what I'm talking about? And with that, I'm gonna leave that right there. I know I made it plain on this script. It's time for little mama to fight through whatever it is she been going through and get back on that stage, man, and reveal, put on that Brooklyn shit. Harlem like to claim us sometimes, so we gonna say that Brooklyn Harlem shit. That mean a lot coming from a nigga like me, cause I was in that way when niggas ain't know how to behave from both boroughs, right? And so we gonna let her come back, man. We gonna welcome her back, man. I got a rallying call. That shit is hashtag let's go. Because it's time, homie. You know what I mean? This is the perfect time. Jake backed up, gave her flowers. It's time we do. Yo, listen, man, y'all hit the likes on that, you know what I'm saying, joint. Y'all hit the subscribe button. I need all of that. My subscriptions is going up. Once we get it live, we gonna get it popping. Y'all already feel the energy, man. I'm gonna lace it up and hook it up, and we gonna sit down and chop it up. That's the way that's going. You understand what I'm saying? Anything and everything that I said came from my own imagination and from the confines of my own mind. YouTube has nothing to do with anything that I said on this platform. They don't support it. They don't promote it. This all here is self-made. And with that, I'm gonna let you go. Aha.